Hello guys, this is my second video on the farming industry, and today I plan to cover two more companies. The first company is FMC and the second company is CF. I will discuss their share price, their earnings, and finally I will analyze their financial statements. Without further ado, let us first discuss the two companies' respective share price and their respective earnings. The first company, FMC. FMC bet its second, its third, and fourth quarterly earning last year. Its first quarterly earning this year was beaten. And finally, the estimate for its second quarterly earning this year is higher than the estimate for its second quarterly earning last year. In terms of the share price, the company at the beginning of the pandemic was at 95 and it reached a peak of 132. The second company I will analyze is CF Industrial Holdings. And from Yahoo Finance, we can see that CF missed its second quarterly earning, it missed its third, and it missed its fourth quarterly earning last year. It missed its first quarterly earning this year. However, even though it missed all of its previous quarterly earnings, the estimate for its second quarterly earning this year is greater than the estimate for its second quarterly earning last year. Finally, the company at the beginning of the pandemic was at 40.28 and it reached a peak of 103. Now let us discuss the company's respective financial statements. The first financial statement belongs to FMC. For those who don't know, FMC is a company which focuses on the production of chemical products for agriculture. Now, these products are not supported by ecologists and do not have, and some doctors are against these products. Currently, we have a food crisis, which is about to occur, and therefore farmers will not be able to afford these chemicals. War in Ukraine has caused a fall in fertilizer supply. The reason for this is because Ukraine and Russia were large producers of fertilizers. They produced a lot of fertilizers and provided a lot of raw material for these fertilizers. So the price of fertilizers will go up, but demand will not. Farmers will first be concerned about the growth of their crops. So first they will purchase fertilizers, and as a result they may reduce the purchase of other products, such as chemicals. The rise in price of fertilizers may force farmers to reduce the amount of chemicals they use on their crops. More farmers won't think about purchasing chemicals for now. Their primary goal will be the purchase of fertilizers. So it's possible that FMC could have problems this year. It's possible that their revenue could fall. Now, going back to their financial statement, their financial statement does not seem strong. The company's revenue is too small compared to, the company's income is too small compared to the company's revenue and compared to their equity. This indicates to me that the company has too many costs, too many expenses, and these expenses need to be reduced. It could also indicate that equity is too high for this company, and therefore the company could have too many non-current assets which do not produce revenue for the company. If that is the case, the company needs to sell these non-current assets, and they could use the cash from the sales to reduce their current liabilities. The second thing I'd like to talk about is financial activity. Financial activity rose from negative 87 million in 2020 to negative 747 million in 2022. This rise in financial activity could indicate that the company is purchasing more of their shares, and therefore it could potentially lead to a rise in share price. That being said, as I've mentioned before, the company's financial statement is not good, and it's possible that the company will have problems at selling their chemical products during this time period. If that is the case, then it's unlikely that the share price will rise by a significant amount. In any case, that is all I have to say about FMC. Now let us move on. Let us talk about CF. Finally, the last financial statement belongs to CF. Now, CF is a company which focuses only on fertilizer production. So we should expect a large rise in revenue for this company due to the current war. The company, in terms of financial statement, the company has improved it during this time period. The company's revenue rose from 4,590 million in 2020 to 6,538 million in 2022. Similarly, income almost doubled during this time period. It rose from 646 million in 2020 to 1,260 million in 2022. The company has also significantly reduced its cost of goods sold. In 2020, the gross margin for CF was at 1,174 million, and this rose to 2,387 million. This is a significant rise in the gross margin, and it's very good news to us as investors. It also indicates that the company's management is good, and hopefully they'll be able to reduce the cost of goods sold even more in the future. The last thing I'd like to mention is the company's financial activity. In 2020, financial activity was at negative 1,583 million, and in 2022 it was at negative 1,463 million. Now, as I mentioned before, the company will most likely earn a lot of revenue thanks to the war, so there's no need for the company to spend so much money on their shares. Instead, they could use the cash in their financial activity to reduce their current liabilities. Now, this would reduce the amount of shares the company is purchasing back. However, as I've mentioned before, the company should get a lot of revenue from their fertilizers this year, and therefore it should be expected, and the company should experience a rise in share price either way. In any case, that is all I have to say about CF. Let us now review both of the companies. Now, I'm going to place FMC in the careful section. As I've said before, the company could suffer problems this year. It is unlikely that farmers will purchase as much chemicals as they did in previous years. Farmers will focus on the growth of the crops, so they'll buy fertilizers instead of chemicals. Chemicals in agriculture are also highly condemned, which is also another negative. And finally, the company's financial statement is not very good. The company needs to improve its income. They need to reduce their costs. And I'd like to see them reduce their long-term assets and reduce their current liabilities. CF is going to be placed in the buy section. It's highly likely that the company will receive a lot of revenue thanks to the war. Even though price of fertilizer drastically rose, the demand should be the same. farmers need to purchase fertilizers in order to improve the growth of the crops, so demand will not fall, and therefore CF should earn a lot of revenue. Their financial statement is also good. They have improved their gross margin by a lot. They improved their income by a lot. The only thing I'd like to see is a reduction in financial activity. In any case, that is all I have to say about the two companies. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe. And in the future videos, I plan to move on to the material industry. I will go through the following companies in my next videos: Air Products, Every Denizen, Amcor, and finally Ball. In any case, see you in the next video.